Hey guys, my name is Elijah, but you can call me Lay. Welcome back to A Little Atypical, where we talk all things wellness, personal development, and lifestyle topics. By the time you're hearing this, we will nearly be 2 weeks into 2025, and typically that's when the motivation for our goals begin to slip. Picture this: you started January with a fire in your soul, ready to conquer those New Year's resolutions. Now that initial spark is starting to dim, and you're wondering if you'll be another statistic in the sea of abandoned goals. Don't worry, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not destined to burn out. In today's episode, we're going to dive into proven strategies that will help you maintain your momentum and prevent that dreaded burnout from derailing your 2025 goals. Whether you're pursuing fitness goals, career ambitions, or personal growth, these tips will help you stay energized and committed for the long haul. So, my first suggestion is to look at your resources. And by resources, I mean time, money, energy, support system, and technology. I took economics as a part of my major and I also minored in it. So, in terms of economics, it relates to things like land, labor, and capital. When we apply this concept to personal development, it's actually surprisingly similar. Just as businesses need to carefully manage its resources to thrive, we need to be strategic with our personal resources to achieve our goals. So I'm going to break this down. Time is perhaps your most critical resource because unlike the other things, it can't be gained back nor replaced. Your availability depends on various factors. Are you juggling school and work? Are you solely focused on your career? Consider your commute situation, whether you're driving, taking public transportation, or working remotely. Don't forget to account for caregiving responsibilities if you're looking after family members or if you have dependents, because those things are also included within your time. Next resource is money. So money acts as both a resource and a tool. While it can't buy happiness, it can certainly buy convenience and opportunities. It can help you save time through services, invest in better equipment, or access premium resources for your goals. Understanding your financial boundaries helps set realistic expectations, and also considering where we want to spend our money, what is the most important things our money go towards is very important. Like for me personally, I would prefer to buy equipment. Even though I live in a small space, I prefer to buy equipment to exercise and to amplify my health journey as opposed to go to the gym, mostly because I'm not ready for the social aspect of the gym right now. I'm not saying in the future I wouldn't go to the gym because there are other benefits outside the working out portion, but I want to do right now what will help me build consistent habits. And at least for me, I'm definitely a home workout person. So putting my money into that as opposed to go to the gym is a better decision for myself because I know that about myself. However, if you're someone who gets more motivated around people, a better investment would be to go to a gym and make the gym more on your route. Because one thing I do think, one reason why people don't go to the gym, so sometimes people have to go so far out of their way for it, and that's what makes them get less motivated. So honestly, understand that and understand where you're putting your money. Next resource example is energy. Energy is deeply connected to your physical and mental well being. Your energy levels are influenced by various factors, and that includes things like chronic health conditions, daily responsibility, sleep quality, self esteem, and stress management. It is crucial to assess your energy capacity when honestly planning your goals, because that's another reason why we eventually burn out, is because we kind of overestimate how much energy we actually have for that goal at that point in time. That was my biggest mistake last year, where I had a lot of ambitious goals and I put a lot on my plate and kind of underestimated how much of my goals were time consuming, how much I just wasn't in a place to do certain things and I had to build up to it first. Energy does fluctuate a lot. So that's why this is a resource to pay attention to and constantly check in on, because it is non-consistent. The next resource I would say is a support system, which is a vital resource. So this includes your family, your friends, professional networks, and community connections. So these relationships can provide emotional support, practical help, and accountability, and valuable guidance overall throughout your journey. Because I know that many people, when it comes to personal development, that we try to make it as individualistic as possible. But I do think understanding how people could be a resource, not in a selfish way, but understanding how there is help available to you so you don't overwhelm yourself, and understand how to really look at things is really beneficial. For example, I started to have a therapist, which really helped me kind of deconstruct my thoughts. Even though I was journaling, also having that support in that way, and it technically holds me accountable, because I'm a person who, I guess I still am heavily influenced by like how the educational system set us up, where you have to basically do the work and present it to someone. You know what I mean? I realized that if I really want to be accountable within my goals, I needed that type of support. And support doesn't necessarily mean like being overly dependent on a person. There's an energy exchange, there's an idea exchange, and it's not just you. And moving on to the final tool, which is technology. Technology can be a powerful resource used strategically, from productivity tools to AI. Even though I know some people may have mixed feelings about AI, but if you use AI not as a way to create, but to help you brainstorm, if you can't get another person to open ideas, and I'm not saying it as a way to not think, but as people, we only know what we know. So asking AI the right questions to expand our mind and expand our ideas can be useful for some people. In addition to AI, you can also think of like learning platforms, technological tools in general can help streamline your progress and make goal achievement more efficient. Understanding your resource constraints also can help you make a realistic plan. So, for example, if you know you only have 45 minutes a day for exercise, it wouldn't be realistic to commit to a challenge that requires you to train for hours daily. And this economic approach to personal development helps prevent burnout by ensuring your goals align with your available resources, and also makes you think about what resources do I need more of, so you can start taking the initiative to figure out how to build certain resources that you know will help align you. Next point I wanted to add to this is getting inspired by content while staying grounded in your reality. This brings me to the topic of, the thing about this time of year is I personally like the type of content I see this time of year. Is very like energetic, it's motivating, it's, it is just fun for me as someone who genuinely enjoys wellness and personal development. But this brings up a good point of getting inspired by content while staying grounded in your reality. While it's great to learn things from others' success stories and strategies, it's also essential to filter this information through the lens of your personal circumstances. So let's say you come across a video about the perfect morning routine from a content creator. They wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, hit the gym, make an elaborate breakfast, and start work at 9 a.m. While this routine might sound inspiring, you need to consider your unique situation and ask yourself a couple questions. Are their circumstances similar to yours? Do they have kids? Do they have a fixed work schedule? What is their commute time like between going home and to their job? Do their resources match yours? Like, do they have the same time flexibility, access to facilities, and financial situations? Does their routine address your specific challenges and priorities? even though I am a wellness girly, I also know that it will not work for everyone because of those exact differences. The key is to extract valuable principles while adapting them to your reality. Instead of trying to replicate someone else's routine exactly, focus on understanding the core benefits they're achieving and find alternative ways to reach similar outcomes within your constraints. For example, if you are a parent with children, perhaps your version of a morning wellness routine might look like 10 minutes of stretching while the kids eat breakfast, or turning the school run into like a brisk walk for exercise. The goal isn't to match someone's ideal, it's to create sustainable practices that work within your life. Next point is thoroughly think through your goals. One critical aspect of preventing burnout is understanding the deeper motivation behind your goals. Ask yourself, are you pursuing this goal to feel secure, or are you doing it to feel successful? This distinction can drastically change both your expectations and your approach. If you would like a deeper understanding of this point, be sure to listen to the episode 24 Lessons to Carry into the New Year, because I talked about this already and my own personal experience with this and how it honestly made such a big difference in how I look at my goals. So when a goal is rooted in security, like for example, building an emergency fund or establishing a stable career, it might not give the same emotional high as success oriented goals like starting a business or mastering a new skill. Understanding this difference helps you set the appropriate expectations and avoid disappointment. Sometimes what appears to be a security goal might actually be a stepping stone towards a success goal, or you've adopted certain goals simply because you think you're supposed to want them rather than truly align with your values and aspirations. To avoid getting overwhelmed or stuck in overthinking, break down your goals into the smallest possible steps. This approach helps you identify what will truly allow for consistency rather than setting yourself up with such intense expectations that you either lose interest or burn yourself out trying to keep up. I'm going to be honest, I lost track of which point I'm on. So, the next point is finding or creating a system that truly works for you. And just a little hint, this is actually an upcoming episode. We are going to deep dive on this point. So, if you want to know more about creating a system, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, because we're going to be talking about this very soon. So, anyways, finding or creating a system that truly works for you. I've learned this the hard way through my own experiences. So, during college, amid the pandemic, I would wake up early to work on my blog and creative projects because they were my passions. However, this schedule wasn't sustainable for my physical health. Later, when I started my first post college job, I tried maintaining an early morning exercise routine, but the problem was with late night work calls extending until maybe 10 p.m. And with the addition of dealing with my PCOS symptoms, which is something I never knew about, and it was kind of just this thing that was thrown at me and I was just struggling. This schedule was also very detrimental to my well being, and I was constantly fighting against my body's needs while trying to pursue my dreams and manage my responsibilities. What I discovered is having a structured system for tracking and managing aspects of your life is essential. So for me, tools like Notion, Google Form, and journaling has been game changing ever since I took a hiatus to manage my health and manage my energy. And these tools help me clearly visualize where I'm at and what needs my attention. While not everyone resonates with numbers and data tracking, the key is finding your own system of measurement that ensures all aspects of your life, current well being, future aspirations, and daily responsibilities receive the attention they need. Preventing burnout isn't about pushing harder, it's about working smarter. By understanding your resources, staying grounded in your reality, thoroughly thinking through your goals and creating systems that work for you, you can maintain sustainable progress towards your aspirations. The key is to focus on progress over perfection and to build habits that can withstand the test of time. Discipline is undoubtedly necessary for achieving our goals, but there's a delicate balance we need to strike. When we set intensity too high or become overly focused on results, we risk burning out, which can lead to negative feelings about our goals. And this negativity actually lowers our energetic vibration and creates misalignment with what we're trying to attract in life. That is why in 2025, I'm approaching this podcast differently. I want to be more intentional and strategic about how I use my creative energy this year. While I spoke extensively about discipline in the early months of last year, and I still firmly believe it's more reliable than motivation, I realized I missed discussing how to apply discipline strategically to prevent burnout. I learned this mistake the hard way. By February of last year, I had pushed myself so hard I fell into a mental spiral. And it took until March for me to realign myself, to get more clarity on what to do next. And honestly, that experience taught me that sustainable discipline is about finding that sweet spot between consistent action and personal well being. As we navigate through 2025, let's commit to pursuing our goals in a way that honors our individual circumstances and promotes long term success. Your journey is unique, and your approach should be too. Stay mindful to your resources, be gentle with yourself, and remember that sustainable progress, no matter how small, is always better than burning bright and burning out. So, moving on to the card pull, I used the Animal Spirit deck by Kim Kranz, and we got the Whale for the collective. I don't think on this podcast we ever got the Whale, so this was a very interesting read for me. Whale, desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrains, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all seems lost and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. When in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy, slips into old story to bring into balance regular self-care. Overall, I believe the whale card perfectly aligned with our conversation about preventing burnout. Just as the episode emphasizes understanding our resources and creating sustainable systems, the whale represents the importance of emotional stability and wisdom in our journey. The card's themes of delving deeper mirror our talk about thoroughly thinking through our goals and understanding our true motivations. The whale's attributes of being calm, steady, and deeply compassionate when in balance often reflects the episode's overall message of working smarter and not harder. Similarly, when out of balance and when things become heavy and we start slipping into our old patterns, it parallels burnout in the way we discuss how when we push ourselves too hard without proper consideration of our needs. Most importantly, the card solution of regular self-care to maintain balance directly supports our discussion about creating sustainable practices and honoring our individual circumstances. And there's so many ways we can do this. And I do believe regular self-care is important. And there's so many different forms of self-care, and using, the different types of love, we can incorporate that into our self-care so easily, and it can make it easier to see what daily self-care looks like. Self-care isn't just about treating yourself. I deeply believe self-care is also keeping the promises you made to yourself. Like, if you promised yourself that every hour, instead of consistently getting stuck in a task, that you would take 5 minutes out of the hour to just walk around, breathe, and give yourself that little break, and then you don't do that, that is denying yourself care, and you're breaking a promise to yourself. Maintaining our physical and well-being while pursuing our goals is the most important aspect. On to the final segment, which is, of course, what I'm grateful for. Personally, I'm deeply grateful for the fresh start that the New Year's brings. New Year's is actually one of my favorite holidays, and I want to share something interesting that happened while preparing for this episode. I came across a comment on a video when someone expressed that New Year's was their least favorite holiday because it constantly triggered anxiety. So if you share similar feelings and sentiments, I want to put this perspective out there that changed how I view this holiday, because honestly, growing up, I was very much indifferent to New Year's, but through the later years, I started appreciating holidays like Thanksgiving and New Year's a lot more. But to focus on New Year's, what changed my perspective and view of this holiday is we get to decide. We have the power to choose which aspects of our past selves we want to carry forward and which we want to leave behind. New Year's isn't necessarily about needing to change. It's about having the freedom to decide what you want to do. There's so much incredible power in that choice, and it's not about pressure to transform. It's about the opportunity to consciously shape your path going forward. So I hope that thought helps you going forward, whether you fell off your New Year's goals, whether you're just starting over this week, whether you're listening to this at a later point of time and maybe your New Year's is not till spring. It is all good, okay? But that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of A Little Atypical. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share with someone who might need to hear this. Remember, view the description box where you can find important links, such as the one to my website where there is so much more bonus content. And until next time, have a good day, evening, or night, and stay authentically atypical.